So don't, this thing, this less than, this is the upper bound. Okay.
Yeah, don't do that, just write tests, as we'll talk about, continuous integration, so that if, an upstream package does change, the tests will tell you, and again, we'll talk about this, the tests will say, hey, your code broke because NumPy updated, to version 2 or whatever, and broke something. That's what the tests and continuous integration is for.
But if you feel like we've ventured way down a rabbit hole of like programming terms and opinions, you are right, and I apologize. That's why we're here. Loving it. Hashtag. Okay. I promise we're gonna do real things in just a bit, and we're almost at the end.
Someone has a question.
Yeah,
Just a
please.
quick question. So you're talking about how like a new version of Python, like I don't know if this is real or theoretical, it like might not support NumPy and everything that calls NumPy and like it's the apocalypse. Why would the Python people make that decision to do that? Like I'm just
No, it's a good question. Like again, like semver is like aspirational, right? Right. So people try to say this version of NumPy is gonna work without any breaking changes. Usually, like I wouldn't expect someone to make changes in Python that would break NumPy. But for example, here's an example that maybe will make this more sense. Make more sense. We just got NumPy 2, right? You might have noticed. Is this a good explanation so far? Okay. Depending on the deacon for feedback and emotional support, thank you. Like NumPy 2, basically there's like this laundry list of things we can't change because we will break everyone's NumPy code. And so they tried to really telegraph it to everybody. Like for example, we need a vector that can handle strings of different lengths. We wanted this since a long time ago, but we will break everything in NumPy if we make this change. Or I think there's things about like the way that it interacts with C code, like its application binary interface. That's a word, right? So all these changes that like they needed to make, that they knew would break things, including like some weird function that you depend on that they intended to be like a private function, right? So when they bumped to version 2.0, that's like, okay, I'm giving you a big heads up. This is gonna break all your things, so you better be ready. But it's not like intentional, like we would want to on purpose break compatibility. It's just like you need to make these changes. Is that?
Yeah.
Well, and as another example, like Python, from 2.7 to 3, hey, we're changing how integer division works for the better.
Yeah.
But of course, people's code that relied on the old way will now be broken or will behave differently. But that's obviously a good change. Now it behaves as people want it to, just for reasons the original design did it the way they did it in version 2.x. But now, they fixed certain things, they made it better, but it did break old behaviors, among other things like print is now a function, as opposed to just this weird command. Like everything else. So that's another example.
And then it's just on the developers to anticipate or work out these changes and update their code.
Yeah, and again, that's another one, like a reason why there are a lot of packages